Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. Every bit of support is greatly appreciated. Now let's get to the video. Also, make sure to check out our live streams this month. We'll be streaming Hollow Knight Silksong, Borderlands 4, and Pac-Man World Repack 2, all throughout September. Hope to see you there. This guy's great. I love having a clone. Remember him from the Mario Party clones video? He beat me. Fuck. Yeah. This guy's been going to see all the movies for me, and I don't even have to leave my house. It's great. Oh, we didn't have a skit plan for this month. Just didn't have it in the budget. Fuck out. Well, before we get started, we do have a like goal for today's video. If this video gets 30 likes, this guy has to go see Gabby's Dollhouse the movie in theaters. Yeah, bitch! August. You know what? This was a pretty alright month. In terms of movies, I think this was the best outcome we've gotten since last month. But still, Disney put out a movie that didn't completely suck. I finally got to watch the biggest animated film of the year. And of course, Ground Zero for my channel. Some solid comedies, actions, all across the board. Gaming-wise, I picked up 3 titles, and thankfully I used this time to also catch up on past releases I hadn't finished. Don't believe me? I finished Elroy and the Aliens, South of Midnight, and Pirate Yakuza. Look, September is huge. I hate my life. 10 releases, Jesus Christ. TV-wise, it was alright. Who am I kidding? Multiple returning seasons, including, not joking, the best cartoon revival we've gotten this year, which, surprisingly, there was some steep competition. Yeah, it's been solid, so let's see how everything stacks up. Prime Video. You mean to tell me that of all the things you could have put money into the production of, I am patiently waiting for The Boys Season 5. Fuck it! Let's go niche. I am patiently waiting for 007 Road to a Million Season 2, one of the easily best reality shows of the decade. And you mean to tell me that rather than put money into those kinds of productions alongside productions that have a lot more attention on them like Invincible, you put hard-earned revenue money into Sausage Party Foodtopia Season 2? Who watched the first one? Me, but seriously. The first season was awful, and I already didn't like the movie. But somehow you took any charm the film had and squeezed it out like cabbage juice, and that's how you made Foodtopia. And the second season, somehow worse. I judge TV the same way I judge movies, by 5 stars. I would have given the first season a 1.5 out of 5, but this season, easy 1 star. Some of it's like one good joke per episode type stuff. One of the worst shows I've watched this year. Road to a Million Season 2, now! The worst movie I picked up this month was The Pickup on Prime Video. Oh, come on, man! I just got done with your bullshit on greenlighting Season 2 of that garbage, now you got this? I said on Letterboxd, follow me, that this film feels like it had a lot of puzzle pieces there, but were to different puzzles. On paper, a setup like this, and especially this cast, should work for a comedy. We got Eddie Murphy, Pete Davidson, Keke Palmer, but somehow, as Palmer was part of one of the best comedies of the year, she sadly is also part of one of the worst. It's more of a boring unfunny than a cringy unfunny, but it's still not good. Somehow with this great cast, they barely get any laughs in. I guess there are worse films this year, but yeah, this one's pretty damn bad. So I started the idea of streaming certain titles that come out in a year here on YouTube. I like the idea of sharing these games and my experience with you guys, no matter how stupid it was. So. Shovel! I am so stupid! Goosebumps, Terror, and Little Creek. Game Mill's first game this year. Wow. If you're new here, Game Mill is not my favorite company in the world. They have a certain son of bitch title. And I will say, while Terror and Little Creek is better than most Game Mill titles, it's still plagued with issues, and this is just from one stream. Seriously, I'm gonna have to start doing these more often. I had a lot of fun that day. The game follows a group of kids investigating weird things going on in Little Creek. Off the bat, my issue with this game is that I spent a good amount of time just looking around and trying to find what to do. The puzzles in this game range from incredibly easy to unfairly difficult, but for a kid's game, that's a bit much. Voice acting is trying way too hard. Nobody told these kids that these are the guys who made Walking Dead Destinies. It's just sad. I want to play a good game from Game Mill, genuinely, but it's just not there. This game isn't good. The puzzles aren't fun. The enemies, oh yeah, the things that are supposed to scare you, yeah, they're absolutely nothing special. Some of them even die easy. It's just sad because I like the ideas in this game. Like the spell book, that's cool, but it's used in a game that doesn't focus on it. Really close to one of the worst games I've played this year. I don't get it. This is the film Jenny Tartakovsky, animation legend Jenny Tartakovsky, always wanted to make. I'm starting to get why Sony tried to cancel this, because this is... I just don't care for it. Jenny Tartakovsky's passion project, yup, fixed. A film about a dog who wants to fuck. Okay, so if Tarkovsky makes a bunch of jokes about dogs fucking, it's considered a miracle it came out. But when I'm sorry, I just don't find this humor that funny. If you're just making a bunch of sex jokes and not really saying anything that funny on top of them, it's just not gonna work for everyone. There are people who would get this humor, yes, but I'm just not one of them. I guess it's a miracle we got 2 hand-drawn animated films this year, a score one for the virgins, but I don't really get the point behind a lot of this. It's just dogs wanting to fuck each other for an hour and 20 minutes. It's not horrible, I just don't think it's the film that everyone was hyping up. So on August 30th, I had to make a really tough decision. I could either go see The Toxic Avenger, the unrated gorefest remake of the 1984 film. My other choice was The Roses, a comedy remake of Danny DeVito's 1989 film War of the Roses. Guess which one I chose? Yep, I chose The Roses. Now, you can tell me, well, that was a stupid choice, Xander. I know, dick. Yeah, I'm aware of the dumb decision I made to watch this instead of the much more talked about film, because I think the funniest part is that I have very little to say here. It's a comedy that stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman as a bickering couple. Now, this film also had some pretty funny people attached, like SNL alums Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon, former Doctor Who star and one of my personal favorites, Ncuti Gatwa, a director who has comedic talents, Jay Roach, and at the center, 2 people who should make this writing work. Cumberbatch usually gets recognized for more serious roles like Sherlock or Doctor Strange, but he does have comedic talent. There's this really underrated dark comedy called August Osage County, and he didn't have that big a part in it, but he did leave an impact on it, at least enough for one. Here, he's either playing it straight or isn't really given that much funny to say, and it pisses me off because in a desperate attempt, they try to make Olivia Colman funny in this. Arguably, Coleman has the exact opposite issue. She's great with dramatic acting, hell, she's been nominated for an Oscar 3 times for it, but she's not very good at comedic acting. She has movies where she's funny, but it's clear she's better at dramatic acting, and sadly, they give her the funnier material, and I swear if you just flip the roles, we got a solid comedy here. Sadly, it's just mismatched and a bit boring. The side characters thankfully make up for it a bit, but the center is The Roses, and sadly, it doesn't make for a very engaging film. The first Nobody from 2021 was a decent action film that utilized the underused action star Bob Odenkirk. While the first film was really good, the first film was really good. This isn't horrible, but I got very little on it. It's a standard summer vacation sequel. Surprisingly, it's hard to make these nowadays. Odenkirk's great and the humor and action are alright, but it's not as good as the first. If something like Madam Web is the wrong way to write like it's the 2000s, I think Freakier Friday is the right way. Like, you know it's a good month when this is a high 3 out of 5 film and it's not a bad movie at all, and we still got 12 entries to go. Freakier Friday is the highly requested sequel to 2003's Freaky Friday, which starred Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. And honestly, I had more fun with this than I'm proud to admit. Seriously, it's a fun sequel. It does have some cringy Disney writing, like they talk about safe spaces because Gen Z. I am so sick of that stereotype. But I will always give points to a film that acknowledges just how goddamn obnoxious British people are. Is it a masterpiece? I guess not, but I laughed at it, so it worked. I checked out a very small indie title that got my interest for sure, Tiny Bookshop. I gotta say, this is just a nice cozy game. You run and manage a pop-up bookstore in Buxtonbury, that's the name, where everyone loves reading, so I can assume this doesn't take place in America. This game is very charming. It's not a difficult game, but I always like the vibe of it. It might not be one of the best games of the year, but it's certainly one of the most charming. So I checked out Mafia: The Old Country, the long-awaited 4th game in the Mafia series. After the somewhat disappointment of Mafia 3, most people were wondering how a prequel would work. Good question, it kinda doesn't. This game is nice, and it obviously took a lot of effort to make it realized, but if I had to say, it's not one of the best of the year. A lot of it's narrative-based, so it's just going around and talking to someone, beating someone up. But when it does get to the good stuff, just like the other mixed-reviewed Mafia game, Mafia 3, it does get good. But it takes a while to get that good stuff, and it can be a bit tedious. But I give credit, all the Mafia games have been that way. It's not that much better than Tiny Bookshop, but it's the best game of August. I have 10 entries left. Wednesday Season 2. Part 1. Yeah, the first half is available, while the second half drops in September. To keep things regulated, I'll simply update y'all on the whole deal when the TV ranking drops in January. I might be the only person who didn't get into the first season of Wednesday. It's a good show, but I'm just not that big an Addams Family guy. But thankfully, Season 2 is a much-needed improvement. But Jenna Ortega, for as batshit overused as she is nowadays, always was good as Wednesday and has that classic Tim Burton charm. All things considered, it's better than the first season, so there's that. Haha, I'm so scared. A lot of people really liked Weapons, even some claiming it's the best horror movie of this year. And I was wondering which movie was going to be this year's Avatar 2, the movie everyone praised and I just didn't understand. And while I don't think it's weapons, we'll have to see, I didn't nearly like it as much as everyone else. Oh god, okay, let's talk about it, because in hindsight, I have watched far worse than this. And clearly it's not a bad movie, I just didn't get it. Julia Garner's great, one of my favorite performances from her, and this is Zach Cregger, the guy behind Barbarian, and it shows as his signature style that made Barbarian stands out. I am going to talk about the ending because a lot of people are kind of split. Me, I don't like it, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. It might not be my cup of tea, but I see why people like it. Okay, so there was this movie that came out on August 6th in my theater from Angel Studios. Now, that company has made movies, that's for sure. They mostly focus on emotional, uplifting stories that, with some movies, it works like King of Kings, and with movies like Sound of Freedom, Cabrini, and pretty much all their other movies, it just comes off as pretentious. Especially when people like Jim Caviezel are part of the productions. I can't fucking stand his acting, I'm sorry. But King of Kings was a decent film, and I guess Sketch is actually a better film. They have another film dropping this month called The Senior, and I don't know if I'm going to see it yet. Jury's still out if I didn't just see the whole movie in the fuck-ass trailer, but Sketch is a very different approach as it tackles a concept I've always wanted to see done in kids' films, grief. The film follows a young girl who deals with her mother's passing by drawing in her sketchbook. Drawings that are very disturbing, and I'll go ahead and say these adults do not act at all how adults would act seeing these drawings in real life. However, her sketchbook falls into a magic river. It's one of those movies where that's never explained, and all of her drawings come to life. On one hand, it is really short, only an hour and 33, and I feel like it could have benefited from being longer, but I give credit, the kid's acting is pretty decent. Tony Hale plays the father, and I gotta be honest, he's a little rough, but give credit, it doesn't really focus on him too much. And his voice always will remind me of Forky, I'm sorry.
Life is all about balancing the good and the bad.
You're just like me. Trash!
The visuals really convey that these are kids' drawings. They're rough, but still have unique features. The plot can jump around a bit. Okay, when do I start praising this movie? Well, remember that grief thing I talked about? They really do it well. They don't make it so she's forced to mask her grief. They claim it's a good thing that she deals with it in such a healthy way. It's incredibly clever, and it would have been so easy to cop out and say, these drawings almost killed people, you need to stop that. And I'm glad that's not how they tackled it. Grief is a hard thing to handle, and it's done very well here. Even if it's not a 100% perfect movie, I had a nice time with it. The film I admit I'm not familiar with outside of trailers. Apparently it's based on a book, and it had a lot of famous names in it, from Austin Butler to my favorite doctor from Doctor Who. So it's kinda disappointing to me that it's just good. I don't really have much to say on it other than it was shot nice, the acting was good. I think this is the first film I actually remembered Austin Butler in. Also, like Weapons, the ending's a little bit on the edge. I don't know. Let me know if you've seen it, I don't know. Oh my god, people, it's time! It's finally here! Oh my god! Okay, it's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the movie that destroyed the Chinese box office, Ne Zha 2. It was good. Great even. Okay, just bear with me on this. From here on out, we're officially in 4 out of 5 territory, so don't let the ranking numbers fool you. Ne Zha 2 got serious praise for making $1 billion in just the Chinese box office, an accomplishment never made before. Such, I was curious. But that too made me realize that there had to be a 1. And such, I watched it before seeing the second film, and I'm gonna be real. The first movie's kinda ass. And not a horrible film, but I don't really remember it all that much. And while I can safely say the second film is leagues better, it's not exactly like one of my favorites this year. A lot of great animated movies have come out, and this isn't even a top 5 so far. But it's good, some fun action and likable characters. Though this might be the craziest take for me, the English dub of this movie drove me nuts. It's not for kids level, but I don't know, it's not my favorite. Probably would have just liked the original dub with subtitles, and that's coming from a D1 subtitle hater. But overall, I see the appeal, and it's still a great movie, just not quite one of my favorites. Haha, it's so funny, I'm up at 10:30 at night when I'm supposed to be at work at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and I have to re-edit the Peacemaker segment because copyright claim. Haha, it's so funny. Okay, parody movies. You got my attention. One of the first films I checked out this month was The Naked Gun. Now, I had absolutely no faith in this movie. It's a parody movie in the time period where Meet the Spartans exists. It's based on one of the best parody movies of all time. It just didn't seem right. And then it was. For as short as this is, it's not even 90 minutes, it fits as much Naked Gun humor as it can. It feels like the old films did, and it works incredibly well. Liam Neeson is having a ball with this role, and honestly, who can blame him? He was the marksman, have some sympathy. I thought Pamela Anderson being in this would distract, but she also is very funny in this. I like the villain isn't too serious. I like that the humor doesn't just reference things that are popular hungover games. I want to say it. If Scary Movie 6 is like this, I don't mind spoof movies making a comeback. On the topic of comebacks, Alien. I don't know how to explain it, but we've gotten Prey, Alien Romulus, Killer of Killers. Both Alien and Predator have been making some serious comebacks, with Predator even getting a movie in November. And now we got Alien Earth, and it's actually one of the better shows I've checked out this year. Being an FX show, it takes just the right amount of risk to make it stand out, and I'll always commend practical effects in these Alien projects. They did them with Romulus too, and they just look great. All things considered, it's one of my favorite Alien projects recently, and I can't wait for Badlands. Yes! Are you ready? Are you ready? Bad Guys 2. Honest to God, so far this is my favorite animated film this year, and it's by no accident. If I had to say which DreamWorks sequels perfectly resonate with their originals, I'd say Kung Fu Panda 2, Shrek 2, How to Train Your Dragon 2, and this. It's everything we wanted in Bad Guys 2. The humor is up, the story was intense, the villain doesn't get that much screen time, but she's still very intimidating, and she's voiced by Danielle Brooks, and they knew how to use her talents. Thank God it's not another Minecraft movie. It's literally everything we wanted in Bad Guys 2 3 years later. Even the furry sex scene, that was impressive that you got away with that, DreamWorks. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say the one thing I think they could have improved on, the villain. Kitty Cat is a very intimidating character. She clearly has a rough background, she knows how to blackmail and manipulate, and she's voiced in a way that makes her come off as intimidating. So why is she kind of sidelined by the other two bad girls? And no offense, they don't really get to that level. Kitty Cat is in it, but Doom and Pigtail definitely get more screen time. And with the solid enough villain, I think they need to shift focus. Also, I'm just gonna say it, listen, folks. Needless to say, I am curious how they'll pull off a third film. Waiter, more furry sex, please! The best thing I checked out this month was the revival of King of the Hill. The best cartoon revival we've gotten this year. Gumball might have played too much into modern humor, but it was still solid. Phineas and Ferb was great, but this is genuinely as perfect a revival as it gets. I like that they aged everyone up. Bobby gets some funny scenes, Hank is still great, and despite the death of his voice actor, Dale gets great laughs. It still hurts that Jonathan Joss didn't get to witness this, but this is as solid of a revival as it gets. They really did their best. Take notes, networks, this is how you do it. Hulu clearly shows love and care for a long-awaited revival. Think about it, it would have been 15 years after the show ended, and it genuinely felt like love and passion was put into it. Shows that Hulu knows their shit, never mind. Looks like Kiki got bakey. Remember, 30 likes, yeah, that's like the video. Wait, what are you talking about? Hey, you suck, bitch, you suck, I hate you, I hate you, your clone.